Hey, it's Garrett here with the Team of Miracles, and we have an updated Satellarknight deck profile. We have our OTS coming up this weekend, and he wanted to just update it and show you some tech choices and some other things he'd like to explain to you about this deck and why he thinks it'll be good this weekend.
Alright guys, let's get into it. I'm going to start off with the monsters. 3 Satellarknight Deneb. Play him, he's your searcher. Standard. 3 Altair. Standard. 2 Vega. Don't ever play 3. It gets cloggy, and then Vanitys Emptiness will shit in your mouth. It is terrible. Don't ever play 3. Some people play 1. If you play 1, it's hard. You rarely ever see it, and then sometimes it's hard to get it out of the graveyard. So it's better just to play 2. It's more consistent, and it just helps you with your all the consistency of getting Deneb out of the graveyard. 3 Unakalahai. You want to ditch everything. You want to just get the Denebs in the graveyard. You don't want to draw Deneb. Drawing Deneb like late game is a terrible feeling, because then you just know that you lost. Unakalahai sets up plays. You want to, and it's really good with Pot of Duality. So you get him and a Pot of Duality first turn. So you summon him, send Deneb, Pot of Duality. Maybe you Pot of Duality until like an alpha or something, and then you have another trap in your hand. You set 2 and then go. And it's really good. And then with the Call of Haunted plays with him, it's way too good not to play 3. And on to the spells. 3 ROTA. It's at 3. They're all warriors. You're gonna play 3. 3 MST. Back row. Just get rid of it. 2 Night Beam. This deck is just, I'm set to just kill Burning Abyss. I hate Burning Abyss. They're so with passion. Everybody thinks that they're like unstoppable, but now Nicholas is the new unstoppable. But there's still those people that have the Burning Abyss decks. So I'm just set to kill them. So I want to hit their Fire Lakes or whatever they have set. 2 Pot of Duality, sticking with the 2 pots. 3 is kind of cloggy, because if you draw that late game, that's a terrible feeling. And then 1 is not enough because you won't see it enough. So 2 is a good number. You want to draw into your engine so that way you can come back and you can start winning. And to one of us, we got 1 Snatch Steal. This is an auto side out against Burning Abyss. So if you're like wondering what to side out against Burning Abyss, this is just get rid of the shit, because the Snatch and Stealing a Dante is just not a good play. Raigeki. This is also a pretty good side-out card, I would say, against Burning Abyss. Unless you go into an Abyss Dweller. So this just maims them. Just Abyss Dweller play plus Raigeki. They don't get any effects. Book of Moon. This is a really versatile card. You know, you Altair, the Fiendish Chain. You can chain Book of Moon to your Altair, still get effect. And then also, like if they Tour Guide or something, you can Book of Moon, Tour Guide, or whatever. Soul Charge. Onto the traps. 3 Alpha. It's really good. Negate, destroy, draw. 3 Call of Haunted. Just sets up a plentiful amount of plays. 3 Vanities. I don't want my opponent to special summon. End of story. And most of the decks that special summon now are pretty weak in monsters. So, like Burning Abyss, they got some monsters that have like a really big defense, like 2,000 defense, and Nicholas, they don't really have much because they can't do anything with their ritual summons, and so all their searcher monsters are like 1,400 attack and stuff like that. So they're pretty weak, and you can get that. You can even get over that with Deneb, so that's pretty good. So you got Deneb, you got Altair, and then you got Unakalahai to get over some monsters. 2 Fiendish Chain, because this has synergy with Triverr, because you can negate their effects, and then you can keep them from attacking. You summon Triverr, bounce it back to your hand, and then set it. It's just really good. And then, if you wanted to, you could maybe even play 3. But with the format coming up, you know, Cleave Forts and Nicholas got Trishula and negate, and it's not a very good choice to be playing 3. So 2 is a good number, and if you end up playing those decks, you can side them out or whatever. Shadow Mirror, dark decks. And this destroys a lot of dark decks, because even when you go to a tournament, you see a lot of rogue decks. Like, I saw Evil Swarms and Chaos decks, you know, it's just a really good card in general. But then when you're playing Burning Abyss or Shaddolls, this card just maims them. 1 Compulse, because you don't want to destroy anything, really good. Deep Prison, you're banishing stuff, is really good. And a Breakthrough skill. This could be a problem too, so you might want to side this out. I only play 1 Breakthrough because of the matchups, like with Cleaforts. This does shit against Cleaforts. I mean, you could probably stop a disc effect, but after that, I mean, it's kind of a waste. On to the extra deck. We've got 1 Diamond, Dark Deck's Worst Nightmare, 1 Delteros, 2 Triverr. Triverr at 2 was really good. You don't need to play 3. Delteros, some people want to play 2, but there's just, you can't really find the room in this extra deck. It's just so tight. 1 bujintei Tsukuyomi. He's a draw power. He helped win me my game against Heroes. Against Michael, he ended up going to day 2 at YCS Tacoma. And this card, it just helps you get things that you need when you have a dead hand. Like, I had like a dead Night Beam in my hand because he never set any spell or trap cards. So I just went into him. And then in defense, because he got a big butt, discard Night Beam, draw 2. I ended up drawing like an Altair, and I think it was an alpha off of that, which was a really good draw. I like it was a god draw actually. And then I ended up coming back and ended up winning. Number 80 Rhapsody. This card's really good against Shaddolls and Burning Abyss and Niklaus. Like all the top tier decks. If you can get this out and end up using this effect, it's really good. Cairngorgan. He's just a good like first turn play to sit on if you really wanted to. Gagaga for game. Heroic Champion Excalibur. He's just for towers, because if you lose to a towers, you're going to feel really bad. 2 Castel. Castel is just better than Silent Monarch right now. Because everything that goes to the graveyard is just, they all have effects. And they're floaters. So Castel is just way better. Play 1 Heartland Dracco. He's just my favorite. I just love attacking for 2k for free. You know, for nothing. 1 Heroic Champion Gandiva. He's an iffy card too because he destroys, but if you're playing a bunch of road decks that don't have those floater effects, this card shits on those decks. Abyss Dweller and 1 Exciton Knight. And Exciton Knight's really just for the Cleafort matchup, because if you can blow up their field and get rid of their pendulum zones, they're kind of done. Unless they top deck a Summoner's Art, which always happens to me. Got 1 Mind Drain. That's for Niklaus, because they got all the effects in their hands. You want to negate that. Soul Drain, you know, because every deck now has effect in the graveyard. This Yang Zings, Burning Abyss, even Satellarknights. Satellarknights have their effects with Triverr and Delteros. Dust Tornado, just in case you're playing Cleaforts. 2 Fairy Wind for Cleaforts. 2 Stygian Dirge, that's for Burning Abyss or in the mirror match against Satellarknights. And you can even play this against Evil Swarms. But Evil Swarms aren't really a thing, but it's pretty good. Shadow Mirror. Because there's a lot of dark decks. You just want to get rid of those dark decks. Those are like your biggest problem. 1 Defusion for the Shaddolls or the Heroes. Like, Heroes are becoming a lot more popular since it came out, and seeing it do good at the YCS Tacoma. 2 Soul Release. I just decided to put these in after having a discussion with my friend. We were talking about it because Niklaus, if you can get rid of all their stuff in the graveyard, that's pretty good. And then also Shaddolls with all their Shaddol fusions, and they can't add them back or anything like that, or you can banish their constructs or their Falcos. It's just a really good card to have on the side.